Showtime.
It's about that time.
Let's go.
You're right where you need to be. This is GCOM Radio.
Hardest radio station on the planet. Yeah.
Powered by Lyfeblood.com.
We certified.
And hosted by Nova Phoenix.
Give them that flavor.
Hey, yo, what is the deal? What is going on? What is going on, folks, man? Seriously, man, it's been a minute. I haven't got on this bike for a little bit. My sincerest apologies for missing last week's show, man. I was just really busy. Everybody knows I've just been really busy with Lyfeblood and really getting all my ducks in a row for that. And, I'm really pivoting and stepping into this Web3 universe. Yes, I always, if you've been listening to the show for a long time, if you follow me on IG, this is something that has always been in the works. And, I'm finally here and I'm taking a step into the Web3 universe and fully immersing myself in that. And I'm doing all the background work to really be prepared, be ready, be on where this direction is going to go. And for Lyfeblood.com. And, like I said, if you guys didn't know, Web3 was always something that I was going to incorporate into Lyfeblood. I just wanted to do it in stages. And, I'm all in it. Right now at this point, I'm all in it. I was just, like I said, I was doing all the paperwork, really doing my research on where I'm going to go and how it's going to be incorporated, making calls for developers and, speaking to folks and really doing all the work that I should be doing as a founder to really characterize Lyfeblood in its next iteration the right way. So I'm at 90% there, and now the next step is for me to write a white paper and also to do a PowerPoint on it. So I want to ask and then ask around with some people and seeing what exactly. What should come first, and I'm sure it's the white paper, and then if at least the PowerPoint is even necessary. But yeah, Lyfeblood is taking a step into the Web3 universe. So yeah, I had to take the time out and do that. I can't do everything, and so it's important because my first and foremost is Lyfeblood as what people see it when you go to Lyfeblood.com. Look, I'm fully all involved in the podcast world, in the podcast industry, and I love it. I don't think I ever stopped doing it. I wish I could have done it earlier, like 5 years prior. I wish I did it in 2016, like at the same time of me getting everything together for Lyfeblood. But it's there. I mean, I'm almost in my 4th year right now, coming in the summertime. So I'm almost at my 200th episode. So I'm here now, and I look back and I see all these episodes on my YouTube channel and everything that I've done. It's just a part of the journey, and I don't think I'll ever not do podcasting. As you know already, as I said, there's going to be a studio when it finally gets built out, and there's going to be a whole, an office set up for that. So when I could come in on Sundays or whenever to do the podcast, hopefully with some other folks, because I definitely want to get at least 1 or 2 other people in on here. But we'll see how it goes. So how has your time been? Hopefully it's been beautiful. And all the craziness that's going on around the world, you're making progress in your life. In each individual step that you're making, it's in increments. So I just hope that you guys are making moves for yourselves. Why? I'm surprised this is down here. I'm sorry. I'm looking at an app here. I don't even know why this is here. Anyway, yeah, man. So let's just start it. I'm not gonna do a long show. It's really going to be short. It's really going to be short. It's not going to be like an hour and 10. I'll do it in the next 20 minutes because I got to get back on the road. I got some other things that I got to do, and I have time frames to really get it submitted. So, yeah. So anyway, folks, I just want to say first and foremost, there's been a couple of deaths since I've been offline and not doing the podcast. And it's crazy. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I just want to check something here. Okay. Yeah, it's been unfortunate that we had a lot of deaths. And it's been, let's see here. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get these things out the way. I got so many windows open on my computer. It's ridiculous. I don't know why this is. Yeah, I want to do that. I don't know why that's there. Anyway, I downloaded this new app thing called Telegram. So I just downloaded it before I got on this mic, and I saw an extra icon on my desktop amongst all these windows open. I'm like, why is this here? It's already in my applications folder. But anyway, so I just wanted to give my condolences to the recent deaths that have took place since I've been on the mic. The death of John Amos. He's a brother that was the father on Good Times. Johnny Brown, the actor, he was Bookman on the Good Times. The recent passing of Tracy Braxton. She died from esophageal cancer. And William Hurt. William Hurt is known as General Ross in the Marvel movies. He passed away. And also Khalees's husband. That's the most recent one. Khalees's husband. This brother died as well. I forgot what he died of, but it's quite unfortunate, man. When you live this long time as John Amos and Johnny Brown, who played Boogeyman, it is condolences because you have lost someone that is dear to you, that you've known your whole life, and I'm talking about close family, friends, and family. But when you died unexpectedly, like Khalees's husband, and his name is, let me see here, just to get his right, just to put out into the air, because he wasn't born with the name Khalees's husband. Mike Mora, he died at 37 because of cancer, man. So my condolences to his family, to Khalees and everyone who knew this man. It's unfortunate that he passed away so soon, so early in his life. Yeah, man. So the other thing is, yeah, it's amazing to me. This is a question for all my vegans out there. Would you drink non-dairy milk, or would you drink something milk-like if it did not come from a cow? Would that be a deal breaker for your veganism? Would that be a deal breaker for your veganism? Because I say that, I read an article, and it's a company called Real Deal Milk. You could go online. I think it's realdealmilk.com. It should pop up in Google. The CEO is named Zoltan Toth Zifra. I don't know where he's from. It's an interesting name. So it's a Barcelona-based company, and it's milk that was created from the cells of I guess the cow, right? So they're saying, of course, everything with raising chickens that be slaughtered and constantly impregnating cows for milk. They say that's something that's abusive to the animals. And what if we can make an identical product that can be made using cell cultures from the comfort of a lab? Now, I know everybody says GMO, genetically modified organisms, and that's not good. But I'm saying, what is the reason why you don't drink milk as vegan? Now, I'm not knocking it because I don't drink milk. I don't drink milk because it upsets my stomach. When I was a pescatarian so many years ago, I cut out milk and dairy and such and so forth. And you know, I drank soy milk. At first, I had, rice milk. I wasn't crazy about that. It was too watery compared to how milk, the feel of cow's milk. So I wasn't too crazy about rice milk. And then I had almond milk, and almond milk is okay. I drink almond milk, and when I walk in Dunkin' Donuts, that's the only selection they have as far as non-dairy. So I use almond milk. So it's a good substitute. It's still not good. I am a soy milk drinker. I drink soy milk. To me, it's closest to milk as possible as far as the creaminess is concerned and the thickness. And then I just, I like vanilla soy milk. So, and it was this whole thing. I remember at one point they were saying that soy milk somehow was filled with estrogen, or it had estrogen and was giving men boobs or something like that. I don't know. A couple people was talking about that before. And they were like, "Yeah, man, it gives men's boobs if you drink soy milk too much." I'm like, there is no. And I Google it. There's no scientific evidence from what I have Googled anywhere that I can search in the internet verse where it says soy milk give men boobs. I haven't seen it, and I'm still drinking milk. And I know the only way I still have boobs is because I was on my COVID weight, and I got I got the extra. You know what I mean? So that's the only way I got boobs. But I'm not gonna now. Of course, I'm in the gym trying to get right and everything like that. But as far as it being connected to soy milk, I have not even heard of this thing. So, maybe it was something that was put out, and there was some articles that were saying, oh yeah, it does give men boobs, blah, 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 blah. But who's to say that wasn't put out by the milk industry? Because if people are slowly coming to the realization that, a lot of cows are suffering for giving us milk, and then we found out like milk is only for calves, and why are humans drinking milk? We still like to have our cereal, so human beings are making a switch to something that's milk-like, of course, from the types that I just mentioned before, the non-dairy ones. Now, more and more people are going to be drinking soy milk because I'm not even a die-hard vegan, but people will be like, yo, I'm lactose intolerant. I really can't mess with milk, and I can't mess with milk because I haven't drinking. I haven't had like milk. Like hard, I'm not gonna front. I've had like milk sparingly over time, right? Over time. Like there was one time where I had, I was in Whole Foods and I saw raw milk cheese. I'm like, I never had it before. Let me see what this is like. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those vegan people or those health food conscious people where it's like, I'm crossing my fingers like it's like it's a cross and all these other foods are the vampires. And like, hey, I'm not that type. So I tried raw milk cheese. Yo, I wish I didn't. I swear to you. Yo, my stomach was yo, my stomach was bubbling like 4 hours later. I was like, oh my God. It's too raw. Yo, why did I even, oh man, listen, boy. And it was even like, this is really good. I was like, oh, it just tastes like real, extra. I forgot the texture, but I was like, all right, it's just cheese. But man, I shouldn't have ate that cheese. And that was the first and last time I had raw milk cheese. Never again. Yeah, and I tried vegan cheese, right, when I was a pescatarian so many years ago. Look, I eat dairy. Like I have eggs, I have cheese, yes, I have American cheese or cheddar, yeah. So I do consume some sort of dairy, right? But like I said, I'm not like a hardcore person where it's like, I'm not consuming. I have it on my hamburger, I eat meat, all like that. But I try to be as health conscious, food conscious as possible. Like if I have too much meat, have salads, let me cut out this, let me cut out that. To me, it's about moderation. And I always thought, even for the longest, my brother was saying, yo, bro, why? Because my brother eats meat. And he was like, yo, man, human beings for 1,000 years have been eating meat. We have done fine. And I always, because I trained myself to believe in pescatarian and to get off meat, red meat and everything, because red meat does sit in your stomach for a couple of days. It takes time for your body to digest it. And of course, when it sits in your stomach, it's going to rot. A lot of the foods that we eat are kind of linked to the ailments, the medical ailments that we have as human beings. So that's how as far as I go, as far as health food conscious, because, you are what you eat. And there's certain things that you just can't eat. If we abuse it, we eat too much of it, and we we have to have moderation in what we consume as people. So I do have certain amount of dairy, But certain things I don't. Like whenever it comes to drinking, like eating cereal or drinking milk or whatever the case, it's straight up soy milk. That's all I have. And if I even try to have some sort of dairy, it messes up my stomach. It does. So I try to stay away from it. The thing that doesn't really mess up my stomach, I think, is in the fermentation process is cheddar cheese. It doesn't, like, if I eat cheese or any variety, it doesn't mess up my stomach. But if I drink whole milk, definitely with that raw milk cheese, or anything like that, I kind of limit the cheese that I eat. 3 or 4 cheeses, that's it. Something more like 2 or 3. But yeah, man. So anyway, as far as I got off on a tangent here. So as far as, would you try something milk that's kind of, they say it comes from the tissue from a cow, the microbes. So they use some micro-based fermentation, precision fermentation, using yeast cells to produce milk proteins, casein and whey, as they say it. So I mean, would you try it? And it just as an additional note, this article that I read says, if you think that's crazy, if you eat cheese, all for the folks that are not vegans, if you eat cheese is already made from a similar process. The cheese said they made it from some fermentation produced chymosin, a replacement for rennet, and rennet was extracted from the stomach lining of calves. So since 2012, 90% of America's cheese contains rennet produced from microorganisms instead. Did I read that right? Yeah, exactly. So even if you say I don't really eat cheese, I wouldn't really drink milk that's from realmilk.com, from this whole, from the cells of Bobby B, this extra, precision fermentation. It sounds like GMO, and I wouldn't do it, and da-da-da. So I'm just saying, I understand that we shouldn't consume milk from cows. I get it. So it's just a lot more than the animals suffering, that we just shouldn't be drinking milk, and there's no need to do it. But if you can have something milk-like, this is kind of, would you try it? No, I don't think so. Because people would be like, because I know what people would say. They were like, well, it's not coming from the udder of a cow, but from on a cellular level, they're pulling these cells and it kind of creating this new, creating milk that doesn't necessarily specifically come from cows. So, but in some ways still cows. Like, for instance, perfect example. I understand where a lot of Muslims come from, because I have some Muslim friends. They don't eat pork. Pork is forbidden. It's haram. So in a ways, I got influenced by the Muslim community, and I don't really eat pork like that. I don't really eat pork because they say because pigs are dirty animals. So I don't eat pork. I don't do it. I eat turkey, fish, chicken, beef, but pork, because it's a dirty animal. Of course, someone's going to argue, pigs are not as dirty as you think nowadays. Pigs back in the day, 1,000 years, they just ate. But who knows? Who knows what pigs eat? How pigs are raised. So they did say candy was pork. I'm like, years ago now. I'm like, get out of here. Really? Come on. It's not. Candy, they said yellow number 6. I believe that's the ingredient within candy, that it's pork. Gelatin is pork. Jello, Jello, the typical Jello, is pork. So, when they say candy was pork back in the day, I'm like, man, get out of here, man. How you gonna put pork in a goddamn candy? Stop it. So I'm like, and in some ways I was like, all right, I understand. There was no evidence. I kind of, in ways, kind of like accepted it halfway. But that was like, yo, respect it. They say it's in candy, but then on the other side, I was like, really, how? And then I saw a video. This is wild. I saw a video, I think, on IG, and they went from pig hanging on a hook, a meat hook, breaking it down, chopping it up, mincing it down to a gelatinous state, very fine, and then it turned into a peppermint candy. I was like, oh fucking shit. Yo, the Muslim brothers and sisters was right. Candy is pork. Yo, I saw it go from a 4-legged, 2-eared, snout-having pig, and them going through the process of chopping it up, breaking it down, and then using that same stuff and turning it into peppermint candy. That freaked me out. See, when you hear it, you're like, oh, okay, cool. A lot of you just take it as is, but it's a whole new thing. It hits so differently. I mean, it hit different when you see the process on video and you seen it right before your eyes, and it's like, oh, motherfucking shit. They actually do use that. That shit is pork. Yo, oh my God. And it reminds me, remember at the time it came out the news about mad cow disease, that the cows were kind of coming down with some sort of disease. Before the farmers knew that it was happening, they were chopping up the disease-ridden cows. They were putting it in plastic styrofoam, typical when you get to the store, serving it to people. The people were getting sick. So when they say the saying, you are what you eat, literally that is true. You are what you eat. The food chain, when it goes from animal out in the or plant out in nature, to the point where it goes from farm to fork into you are what you eat. What that animal consumes, what that plant is exposed to, it is a part of you now. And then you shit it out. Now, in the natural function of things, right, just like any animal, you shit it out, you defecate, they put it through a system, and it turns into, it turns into, oh my God, what is it called? The name was just in my head. They use it compost. Then it turns into compost, right? And it goes back into the land. Because the nutrients from your feces and other things, how they treat it, they'll process it and they're saying that is a step or a methodology you can use to reintroduce the ground, the soil, with healthy nutrients, where you can have a nutrient-rich black soil where you can plant your food again. Amazing. The cycle of life. So in terms of this thing, as far as, what we're exposed to, the good stuff and the bad stuff, and you are what you eat. You just got to watch what you eat. So, it's amazing. And all comes from milk. So anyway. Oh, and if you think I'm lying about that pig to the candy thing, Google it, YouTube it, or something like that, and see if you can find it. I'll leave it up to you guys. Maybe if I can find it and I can post it on my IG or wherever, I can share it with you. But it's totally mind blowing when you see it go from animal to freaking sweet candy. It's amazing. So manufacturers are stepping out with their own EVs, man, with the rise of gas. Let me see what gas prices are now. So recently they just said that the barrel of oil, let's see what of oil price. Let's see what that's like. Let's see here. Gas, oil, crude oil prices today. Let's see what it's like. Say what you want. 110 last time. If I'm right, don't allow, get out of here. Crude is at 110. Let me back up. Let me see. 321, 110. I was right. 110. So it went back down. It dropped back down a bit. They would say, matter of fact, it climbed. I remember they were saying it was at $100 a barrel, and I think it went up $10. And Let me check again if this is the barrel of oil. Let me see here. So I was always wondering, all right, because it was creeping back up. Of course, they're interconnected. The barrel of oil related to what you pump at the gas station. And my thing is, it's wild that it was going to about $120 or something like that. I don't know where it peaked at, but it was like, I think it was 130 or something like that. And it was amazing that, LA was going through $7 a gallon. $7 a gallon in Los Angeles. Let's see here. Let's see what it is right now. It's still type high. So, and what it looks like here, I'm on the site that just it breaks up California into regions, and in some places, Tulare, I think 5.6, and San Bernardino 5.8, and Inyo 6.29, and San Luis is $6 say, Mendocino 5.6, Lassen 5.6. So 5.8. So as far as the $7, it dropped a bit, but still, gas is still high. I think in New York City, it's about, the last time I pumped, it was about $4.20. That's still high, considering they say when the seasons change, gas does go up, but it's still high. So regularly saying New York is $4 and some change, $4.36. That's still high to me. Even though we're coming in spring, usually it starts to really peak up like around, I guess, like the end of spring, right? But it's not, to me, it's not like spring yet, and it's $4.36. So it's still type high, man. It's still type high, and now it's forcing me. I'm planning to get a new car. Let me see the time because I want to finish this quick. I'm planning to get a new car, so I was thinking about the Palisade calligraphy. So I paid a lot for my last one. I was like, I'm going to get me a Palisade. To me, it's the best car on the market. It's the best. I was never a Hyundai person, And then I just kind of like, me and my wife was looking for cars, and he was like, you know what? Let's see about a Hyundai. And I was so against it. But then when I saw on the floor a Hyundai Sonata, I was like, yo, the new brand joint, because I just didn't like how Hyundais looked. It was just so corny. And then they had the limited version Hyundai, and I was like, yo, and it had the basketball colored seats, yo, crazy. I was like, okay, if I'm gonna get a Hyundai, I want that one. So I had that for a little bit, gave that back, and then I ran over my miles, and I ended up having to go with a base model of a Hyundai Tucson. And I'm like, what? Now let me tell you, I'll share it with y'all. Guess how much I pay for my Hyundai Tucson, base model, nothing in it. Guess how much I pay. I give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I pay, you listening? I paid $680. $680 for a Hyundai Tucson base model, because I owed on my last, because I went over the mileage. They had to roll it over, and they tacked it onto my note, to my lease, and I had to pay $680. Now at this point, I'm ready. I'm about ready to take this car back in 2 months. And I went to drive it, with the fam, whatever like that, checking out some cars, went back to Honda. I was like, listen, let me tell you something. Every time I tell somebody that price, they always tell me, you should be in a luxury car. I'm like, damn right, I should be in a luxury car. But you know what? Granted, I fucked up, right? I fucked up. So because I paid that much, you best to give me the car that I want. Because if I've been paying for this goddamn base model Hyundai Tucson for 3 years, 680, you better give me what I want. So I was looking at the Hyundai Palisade because I liked it because, it's big. I have extended family that comes, stays with me. So I was thinking, man, we need a car with a little bit more room. And when I was doing a review, it turns out Hyundai has got the best car on the market. It's the best SUV on the market right now, the Hyundai Palisade. I hate the Telluride. I hate the Kia Telluride? Oh, stop it, man. Give me a break. I hate the name itself. I wouldn't buy the car because I wouldn't buy that goddamn vehicle because it was such a lame name. I say, who thought of this name? Telluride? What does that mean? I hate the name of that goddamn car. So reviewing all the other cars, and I looked online to YouTube, they said that the Hyundai Palisade is the best SUV, and I test drove it and I stepped in it. Has a lot of space in it. Has a lot of USB so people can plug in in the back seat area. It's like a 7-seater. I thought it's huge. I'm not really big on SUVs. I rather take cars, but because I need the space, I was like, all right, let me get this Palisade. And it's nice, man. It's the best looking joint. I'm telling you. Better than all of them, and probably sometimes better than some of the luxury vehicles like Audi and all of them. I just like how it looks. So, I'm going to end up with a Palisade. However, because gas is too goddamn high, I was like, you know what? Let me see if let me bust it down to a hybrid, because I have refused to pay these gas prices right now. So I'm literally between a Hyundai Palisade, because I'm still thinking about it, and then getting the what do you call it, the Hyundai Santa Fe. That's like one step up from the what do you call it, the one that I got, the Tucson, and it's gonna be a hybrid, all the bells and whistles and everything. Let's see what it works out. But let me tell you, so I don't know, but usually when it comes to things like that, people will trend to things that's going to benefit their pocket, lighten the load. And I think the trend will be a lot of more people are going to buy EV vehicles, man. A lot more people are going to be buying hybrid vehicles because no one wants to pay these gas prices. Some people have no choice but to drive, but God damn it. However, if we are going to load up on these EV vehicles, we have to make sure that our power grid can support the energy draw from everybody charging up. Now, they better make sure, because remember what happened in Texas when that punk ass motherfucker Senator Ted Cruz, everybody, when that grid shut down from the frigid weather, what did your man Ted Cruz do? He hightailed it out of there right to South America, that punk ass motherfucker. And that's your senator? You got to make sure you build a stronger power grid. And that's when we found out that it was privately owned and it's deregulated. And what it sounds like that from reading, they didn't really want to spend the money on winterizing the infrastructure. And so when Texas got hit with this huge winter storm or whatever it was, and it just froze everything, and they had to shut down certain parts because it just wasn't safe, and a lot of people were without power. So if we're going to move to EV vehicles, we do have to kind of make sure that the grid can handle that load of people just drawing that power from these stations. And I don't even know why a lot of these gas stations haven't set up EV stations on the property. Maybe you're just going to, just like Elon Musk, a company is going to have to invest into EV stations, man, apart from all the other typical ones like Exxon and what's the other one? A couple other, the whole other gas, BP and all that, Texas Oil, I think it is. But we definitely need to in some ways kind of start switching over into all sources of power, like natural gas, wind, solar, and in some ways where we can support this grid. Some people are thinking about, as far as energy is concerned, is nuclear power. I don't know, man. I'm still against nuclear power because, the waste problem, the spent rods, you gotta like bury it in metal or encase it in concrete or something like that. I'm just not convinced. Why even? Let's just invest in some clean energy, something that is not potentially dangerous to the environment. I don't know. I'm not just big on that. I also believe in, just as much as you guys understand, into decentralization in Web3 and the DeFi industry, I think we should also decentralize our power. And I know a lot of power companies are going to be like, huh? I believe that. There's one company I covered in the news, not the news you need to know, Business of the Week, and it was Bloom Energy, where they take natural gas and they convert it to electricity. Anyway, where we could try to kind of get off, to kind of decentralize how we get our power, and where we could feed energy back into the grid. And I know a lot of that's a very, an unpopular thought. But why not, man? I think every home should have its own Tesla battery. And I think every building should have batteries themselves and putting solar panels on their roofs. Anyway, and improve the technology of solar panels. Anyway, to get off of this oil thing, man, because it's getting to be a drag on our society, and then other countries use that as a way to kind of control the market or try to control other countries. And let me tell you, so if I'm in America and I'm looking at how this oil thing is going, and I'm looking around, I'm like, yo, I'm tired of OPEC. I'm tired of these other countries using oil, trying to hold it over my head. When this, everybody knows what's going on with this Russia thing. United States of America was going to OPEC. It was like, yo, can you increase the barrel? Like, it was like, I think it was like 10 million barrels of oil, and America was asking for 2 million more. And, the OPEC or whatever, the deciding countries was like, no, we don't want to do that. I'm like, didn't America learn that from the 1970s oil embargo, when they got cut off from oil and everybody was on those long ass lines in the 1970s at the gas stations, right? Didn't you think America learned from there? I don't know, man. I think America from that point should have went all in on trying to deal with sustainable energy and wean ourselves off of gas. And then what can other countries hold over our heads? What can they do? They can't do anything, because we're self-sufficient on sustainable energy. But again, it comes down to greed. You can't do that because how this system works, how this capitalist system works, offers scarcity. You have to create scarcity in order to control the price of any commodity, of any good. So if there's fewer of this particular item, then you can have that price of that item go up or be expensive or something like that. If you have a whole lot of this particular item of this good, then of course you have too much and the price goes down. But hypercapitalism is killing this world, man, and scarcity is a tool that's used to control the number or the price of specific items, man. So, go figure. If you go on sustainable energy and you have energy from a limitless power source, which is the sun, the power of the sun in my hand. This is Doc Ock. I was watching Spider-Man, the last one. Yeah, so go see that. It's out on movie streaming. So yeah, man. So I mean, of course, the oil barons and the people, the captains of industry, are gonna be like, nah, yeah, that's a good idea, but we don't want to do that. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, so as I said, guys, I've been getting into this DOE. The last thing, I'm going to go about 45 minutes on it. I think I'm going to clock out 45. Yeah. So of course, everybody knows that I'm stepping into, as I said earlier in the program, into the Web3 universe. And Lyfeblood is taking its steps into DAOs. I call them I said DEO and the guy corrected me, not DAO, DAO. Yeah, all right. I'm just saying letter. Anyway, decentralized autonomous organization. And I was listening to a recording to a Twitter Spaces. I don't think it's there anymore. It was hosted by Angie Jones. And she had a guest on a show called Grady Booch. So Angie Jones, she's a international keynote speaker. She's a Java champion, a GitHub star, and inventor of 26 patents. She's the VP of Global Developer Relations. And the guest, he's an IBM, Grady Booch. He's an IBM chief scientist of software engineering. He published six books related to software development, wrote hundreds of technical articles, and so much more. So he has a long history in the world of tech and computer software development. So all they're talking about is DAO, where we're going with it, and the coding, and the philosophy behind that, and the good parts, and also the not so good parts in terms of code getting old, and we shouldn't kind of stick ourselves in the ways of old on how the Web3 initially got presented itself to the world. Of course, when it comes to NFTs, when it comes to the blockchain technology, when it comes to cryptocurrency, all these things and what it means to people. So look, DAO is just a new organization. The way, to me personally, how our DAOs function is decentralized. So it's not controlled by it's not controlled by a group, specifically by a group of people or one person. It's decentralized where the people that are part of the DAO, the community, can put it in their word and their vote on the functionality and the protocols of the DAO that's on the blockchain. And that's a beautiful thing. And there are two things that you can either have that where it's open source and people can actually contribute code to improving the protocols of the DAO. However, the original DAOs, everybody knows, not everybody might know, but there was the first DAO. It was called the DAO. It was open source, but the problem was it did good at first. It raised millions and millions and millions of dollars. I think hundreds of millions of dollars. And then hackers, of course, after everyone knew how much they raised, hackers, because it was open source, hacked into it and stole, I think, about $50 million. So a lot of people, it soured the milk. It soured the milk so badly that people was like, I don't think this is a good idea. But then eventually another different idea of the DAO came out where it's permissioned. The first one was permissionless. As I said, it was open source. Anyone can improve the protocol by contributing their own code for the new protocol for the DAO. But in permissioned, which I'm stepping into that, you have to actually submit. You have to buy into tokens so you're able to vote. And with that vote, you can agree to or disagree to any new protocols that you would like to introduce to this within this decentralized autonomous organization. And then the core group of people would review it and they say, okay, whether it's good or not. And then if it is good, then they would implement or take the necessary steps to incorporate this new code into the DAO. And now it's a beautiful thing. I like permissioned. A lot of people, the purists, the decentralized purists, will say, well, that's not a DAO. It's not totally decentralized. But I don't think things are going to be 100% decentralized because of what happened to the first DAO, the DAO, that you had just bad actors that wanted to sour the milk and destroy something that was so beautifully made. So I think it should be permissioned where you can, you buy into some of these tokens where you get your vote, how many amount of people that is. And then you can decide whoever wants to introduce this new protocol, this code, it can be reviewed by those folks, especially for those folks that are software engineers. And then you take steps to incorporate it into this space. Blockchain is a beautiful technology, and they were speaking about this within that Twitter space, and you had a lot of people that, even Grady Booch, he made some mention that there's just some flaws that are that exist within the blockchain technology, and we shouldn't get hung up on how it exists today. And I do agree. I do understand. this market is super new. It is so new. This industry is, I'm neck deep in it, and I understand that it's new. Even in terms of cryptocurrency, it's a fairly, all this stuff is new. Everybody is kind of like hyped up from everything. The millions of dollars are being sold on cryptocurrency and NFTs. But we also have to understand that it is very new, and people should realize that there are going to be flaws that are going to be built into this code, into this digital infrastructure. And we have to understand there's just going to be loopholes. There's going to be things that we haven't thought out completely that someone can take advantage of. And you're going to just have people that's going to enter into the space with, bad intentions and try to wreck the whole house. We have to understand that, and we have to continue to build Web3 blockchain in whatever way that it's going to manifest itself, and make sure we center on security and we don't have these bad actors coming in and fouling the milk. And we have to make sure that whatever we build is airtight, ironclad. Now, it's not going to be like that 100%. Look, listen, like anything, all right? They said when you write your pitch deck is it's a live thing. It's always changing. You're always going to have to do updates. And, looking at that, reading that about writing pitch decks, I understand, because there are things that are always going to change and you have to update. So I understand when they say that it's almost like a live animal. It's something that is always going to evolve and change and adapt in whatever space that it's in. So you could take that same concept and you can apply it to Web3. It is a live animal. It is always going to change. It is going to go through its evolutionary steps. What code we build today is going to be obsolete tomorrow. And what we see today, there could be a bubble in Web3 and it could pop. Of course, they always say that's going to happen. It happened with the internet, and they were funding all these companies, and they found out, oh man, these things are irrelevant. It will go through that stage. But then out of that cauldron, that fire, that crucible, the companies that are thinking more than just money, I think they're going to come out on the other end. And we also going to realize that there's going to be updates to Web3 in the DeFi industry and in the decades to come, and we have to be prepared for it. So a lot of times there's this romanticized idea that we've come across the golden calf or the golden scepter, that we've made it and we've arrived and there's nothing else to do, and it is perfection. And it's not. Nothing is ever perfection. Nothing is ever going to be perfection. You can strive for perfection, but as far as the understanding of the embodiment of the perfection, you can make a sculptor can build a sculpture, and then he or she is not entirely satisfied with it. There's certain things that they see and it's like, I don't like that, blah, blah, blah. Or the Mona Lisa. It's a beautiful picture. It's survived through the ages. But the Mona Lisa, when you walk up on it, you'll see the cracks and you'll see the imperfections and the fading color and all these things that happen over time. All right. So I don't think we'll ever get to an idea of perfection in the Web3 universe. I think what we have to do as human beings is see the flaws, see the loopholes. And, you have to thank sometimes the people that are coming in there with bad intentions, because there are going to be things that you haven't realized at the beginning of you writing this code, you developing this new space, that they're going to show you by them being the fucked up individuals that they are. And we have to make sure that we plug those holes as we venture into this new Web3 space. So I'm very excited what it's going to be as far as DAOs, or where cryptocurrency is going, where NFT is going. I'm looking forward to it to being just more than a money grab. And then it can be applied in a lot of other ways in society, which it can be. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to where we're going with Lyfeblood and then building this out and making it happen. So yeah, folks, it's exciting times. All right. So I guess I was wrong. I went overtime. I'm thinking I could do this in a half hour. My fucking long-winded ass. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you listening to me. I'm gonna get out of here. I'll see you next week with a at length show and everything like that, and staying consistent. And I appreciate you guys and listen to me as I make these moves with this business and moving across into this new venture that I'm doing. So I appreciate it, guys. So I'm gonna get out of here. I'm signing out. I'm out. Peace.
Yo, check it.
You just listened to GCOM Radio, powered by Lyfeblood.com for the global community.
We worldwide, baby.
See you in the next go round. From right here to your town, we out.